Conrad Francis, Chef de Mission of Team Grenada for the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. Mr. Francis, let's look at Grenada's participation at the Olympic Games, a very small contingent, but very much satisfied with the performance of Team Grenada.
Oh yes, I think that has been one of the best performances of Team Grenada since its participation at the Olympic Games. I mean, we can talk about 2012 when Conrad James won the gold medal, but I think overall, if you analyze the results carefully, you will realize that that has been one of our better performances since the inception of our participation at the Olympic Games in 1984.
Let's break down now the individual participation, starting with the swimming competition.
Well, we had two swimmers on the team, Corey Olivier and Orelua Cherubin. They both did they tried their best. It was their first effort, first time at the Olympic Games, and I think that their performances were commendable. I have seen a lot of athletes, better athletes than they are, compete at the Olympic Games and actually chicken out at the competition. But they faced up to it commendably, and I think that they did a very good job, and they have the potential, and it is expected that they will move on from here to greater things.
In the quarter mile, the female Kanika Beckles.
Well, Beckles, if you analyze her performances, I would think that she did her utmost best. She had a season best. She had her troubles during the season, and coming back from all the difficulties she had to come back and run her season, a season best, I think it shows that she gave it her all. It was not sufficient to get her into the next round, but I think she would have come out, very satisfied with her performances, because Beckles, she did not make the qualifying standard, but she was able to get one of the universal spaces, and she really showed that she deserved coming to the games using one of the universal spaces.
And the men versions with both Conrad James and Braylon Taplin.
The men version, what can I say? That was a very, very historical race, and I think it was very good that we had two athletes being part of history. Not only being part of history in terms of the event itself was a record-breaking event. I mean, a record which was set, I think, in 1997, being broken by Van Niekerk, a record which we thought probably would have never been broken. And our two athletes were part of that.
You're speaking about Michael Johnson, 1999.
Yeah, Michael Johnson, world record, yeah. 43.18. And having our two athletes being part of that history in itself, it's an accomplishment. But much more than that, we were the only country that had two finalists in the 400 meters. I mean, for a small country like Grenada, that is highly commendable. And that was the talking point when it comes to the 400 meters of the Olympics. Two Grenadians being in the finals. And again, we had Kirani getting a silver medal. Kirani ran almost the best race of his life and came up with a silver medal. Van Niekerk was just the better athlete on that day, and in fact broke the world record. But I think having two athletes in the finals, one getting a silver medal and one coming sixth in the event, it is highly, highly commendable, and it goes to show that Grenada 400 meters running is our niche. And I remember doing an interview with the Spikes magazine some months ago, and I actually mentioned that, that one of the questions that was asked is why Grenada 400 meters running, and was able to give a number of reasons why. We are a people, yes, we have fast twitch muscles, and it is a mixture of fast twitch plus endurance, and that is what 400 meters running is all about. And I think we have demonstrated that in this Olympics.
All right, and while we're on that, you're saying that in the context of the dominant United States, for example, that normally will have probably the maximum 3 in a final, not being there with 3, just 1.
Yeah, and we have seen that trend over the last 4 years. At the 2012 Olympics, USA did not have a finalist in the event. So it goes to show that the Caribbean and African athletes are beginning to dominate the event, because you had at least 3 Caribbean athletes, 4 Caribbean athletes as a matter of fact, in the finals of the 400 meters, and 2 Africans. Yeah, so we have seen a shift from the USA dominance after sweeping the event in 2004 and also winning again in 2008. There has been a significant shift to Caribbean and African athletes in the 400 meters.
Okay, we'll come back to the 400 meters, but the decathlon, the Ironman events of the Olympics or even the World Championship, what's your observations, your comments, especially with the participation of Kurt Felix and Lyndon Victor?
Yeah, as I've said repeatedly, that the multi-events is one of the most captivating events in any big meet, and Olympics especially. And I, for one, that is one of my favorite event. And to sit and watch our 2 athletes perform at the highest level, it's just one of my dreams, and I was very happy that I was able to be part of that history, where we have 2 Grenadian athletes in the decathlon, and not only 2 Grenadian athletes, but 2 brothers performing at the highest level. I could see as chef de mission, I was very proud to be among the thousands of spectators cheering them along all the way. And their performances were very, very good. You had Kurt scoring his PB, personal best, at the Olympics, and where else would you want to do that at the Olympics? So I would say that he has to be very satisfied with his performance. I guess, yes, he may be disappointed in some of the events. He could have done a little better, but I say, hey, this is the Olympics.
And finishing in the top 10 as well.
Finishing in the top 10, you hardly could ask for better. But we know that the potential is there for him to perform better, and it's just giving him the opportunity now to blossom at the highest level, so that next Olympics we can see him even performing better. And to his brother Lyndon, this was his first Olympics, and you could have seen the nerves. You could have seen it was there. Watching him run the 100 meters, you could have seen that he was tense, and he just didn't get it right in the 100 meters. And once you start off badly, it is very difficult to come back, especially in your first big major event as the Olympics. But be that as it may, he performed well, he came back very well. In fact, I think he won the discus throw overall, and winning an event in decathlon at the Olympics at the highest level. It shows that the potential is there, and greater things is the only way forward for both Lyndon and Kurt. And both of them placing and having 2 decathletes in the first 20 in the world. What can you ask for more than that?
You express your passion for the multi-events, Conrad, and you would have seen a number of Grenadian athletes who would have performed at the junior level, character games in particular, albeit the boys' heptathlon. How much you think we need to put in terms of effort in Grenada, that at the local level, in terms of developing and ensuring that these athletes who come out from the junior championships can move up to the Kurt and Lyndon standards?
Yeah, well, there needs to be a greater effort. There needs to be a greater effort. But I will tell you this, that we have started the participation in the multi-events, for example, at the character level. I remember when we were about to host the 2000 character games, we looked at events where we can score, where we can win medals. And two of those events were the javelin, the throwing areas, and the multi-events. So in fact, we participated in character for the first time in multi-events in the year 2000. You had Merriman and Alroy Peters participating in that event.
Showing Merriman. Yeah.
Showing Merriman and Alroy Peters. In fact, Showing came second in that, and Peters was fourth. And from then on, we started every year to enter athletes into the multi-events. So we had people like Arlene Lett and George from Gove, and then you had Kieran Peters, and it was a succession of Akido Noel, Joel Phillip, and all these, a long line of multi-athletes from 2000. But even before that, we had multi-events. In fact, we have Dunstan Campbell, who dominated the decathlon in the Caribbean region. And a lot of people tend to forget, or maybe don't even know about Dunstan Campbell.
That would have been what, in the 70s?
In the 70s.
Okay.
Dunstan Campbell participated in the decathlon and was highly successful. As a matter of fact, he was the best multi-eventer in the Caribbean region at that time. In fact, he participated in the 1978 Commonwealth Games in Edmonton, and has been the record holder for the decathlon event until Cut came along. Cut was the one who broke his record. So we have a long history in multi events, and I'm very passionate about the event because I think it is the most complete event in track and field. It gives you. It tells you about the athletes' endurance, it tells you about their speed, it tells you about their physical skill, and just all the basic biomobilities are within those events. And I also think that we can be the world leaders in this event. Because we've had athletes over the years that have gone down the drain that could have been very good multi-events. I mean, you could speak about Rhonda Henry, you could speak about Philip Guy from St. And there are numerous athletes whom, if we had really nurtured correctly, would have become very good multi-eventers. So what I think needs to happen now, we need to have the multi-events at our national meets. We also need to have it in Intercol. In fact, I did a proposal since in the year 1999 to the Intercol committee, and that's one of the things that were in that proposal in terms of the events, the introduction of hurdles, the introduction of the decathlon, the introduction of 5,000 meters, all these things are there within that program. And the fact that we do not have it at our most popular track and field event in Grenada, could you imagine if we introduce it now, what will happen? And I think now is the right time to do that, because we have shown the world that we have the ability and that we can do it.
Even the introduction of pole vault, for example, as part of a component of the decathlon, now that we have the stadium.
All that is within the proposal that was done in 1990.
So it's just a matter of implementing it.
Just a matter of implementing it. But I also tell you that pole vault is not a foreign something to Grenada. In the 1940s and 50s, we had guys pole vaulting. We had people like William Gittins and these guys from GBSS. They pole vaulted and was very successful at it in the West Indies Games in the 1950s. So it's just a question of reintroducing it. And I think the Olympic Association, in coordination with the Grenada Athletics Association, in the next couple of months, will be organizing a pole vault seminar. I think both Kurt and Lyndon may be involved in that. So that could be a very good start in terms of the reintroduction the event.
While we're on the multi-events, I just want, you mentioned some names, and you mentioned that of even Rhonda Henry, so you were speaking about boys and girls.
Yeah, both the heptathlon and decathlon events. I think we have tremendous potential in Grenada that could be resurrected and to exploit this event.
Okay, let's go back to the 400 meters. You know, we spoke quite a while on the decathlon, the 400 meters running, and I wanted to look on the broader scale, both male and female, because we have seen quite a number of talents, young talents of recent, even as late as 2 years ago, and we have not seen some of them move into the senior fold. What can you say about that, and how do we ensure that probably going forward to 2020, we're looking at 2020 in Olympic Games, although we have the 2 world championships before that, how can we ensure that there's some sort of sustainability in terms of quarter-mile running for Grenada?
Well, even look at the female. I think we have a good group of female athletes, although the coffers are scarce. You know, in years gone by, we had more depth in terms of the female 400 running. But generally, we have a problem with our female athletes in Grenada. They leave the sport at a younger age than the male. So we need to ensure that these athletes are well taken care of, that they are coached properly, and you know, they have to start, coaches in Grenada, we have to get them to understand that, you know, the sky is the limit. Do not just look at the athletes performing well at intercall and winning at intercall. You have to start looking at the times, comparing the times. You know, for example, female 400 meters running, you know what is the expected time? 52 flat to qualify for the Olympics, World Championships. We have to get our athletes close to these times. We've had athletes running 53-point home base. We could go back to Hazeland Ages, Kishara George. There's a number of athletes that have been running in the 53s and so on. So when these athletes, we had Michaela John, Melanie Rodney, a number of these athletes, they have the potential. They have the potential to move on. Some of them have moved on to scholarship. Whether that is the best thing that can happen or not, that is debatable. Some of them, the schools that they choose, again, that is debatable. So, in other words, they have to be, there is supposed to be an entire education on the process. You know, how do athletes move on from a GBSS or Anglican high school and move on to become a professional athlete, so that they can perform at the highest level at the Olympics and World Championships. So this is something that we have to look at seriously and educate our athletes, not just on the running part, but also on the whole process. What's supposed to happen? How do you obtain a scholarship? What are you supposed to do? How do you choose a particular school over another one? All these things, I think we have to start educating our athletes. What you need to do you need to start doing this SATCOM since you're in Form 3? What is the process? What you need to do? Educate the athletes as well as the parents and the process. Right?
And at the Games, Conrad, I'm referring to the Rio Olympic Games, there have been the talk, and even in media circles, regarding Grenada and a relay team referring to a 4x4. But as a coach and as chef de mission, you can probably differentiate whether you're speaking as a chef de mission or as a coach yourself. What are your comments about and Grenada in terms of a 4x4 relay team in future international competition?
Well, there has been talk about a 4x4 team for a very long time, and I'm one who favors a 4x4 team. In fact, Grenada participated in the 1996 Olympics with a 4x4 team.
That's in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, we had Annie Francis, Nigel Jones, Timothy Britton, Clint Williams, and Jason Chatter were members of that 4x4 team. And since then, we have been trying to really build a 4x4 team, because we feel that we have the prowess to really medal at the World Championships and an Olympic Games. However, the whole process has been derailed over the years. We've been having one or two good athletes, and we do not have a supporting cast. Right? So during the period between 2004, we had the emergence of Conrad Francis. Quickly followed by, we had people like Joel Phillip, another 45 miler, and following right after that, Kirani James. But the sad part of it is that we have not been able to produce 4 or 5 people running 45.
But while we had Kirani James, we also had Randall Bartholomew around the period.
Yeah, we had Randall Bartholomew, but who are we? We even tried. I remember the pen relays, we had Kirani, Randall Bartholomew, Joel Redden, and that guy from McDonald College. Right? So, and we were not able to run under 308. Right? So to have a relay team successfully compete at the international level, they have to be running 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 301, 259. That's the time you're looking at least 259 got medal here at this Olympics. So yes, I would say it is easy, but we ought to have all of our guys running 45 seconds or less. Presently, we have Kirani and Berlon. We have Peter, who ran a 45 in last year, but this year he was a bit under par. I was not able to run the kind of times that he's going to run. Randall is coming back from injury. Hopefully next year he get back to his full fitness and run 45. And we have some younger guys coming up. We have Marcel, Philip, Junior Charles, and we are hoping that maybe in 2020 we may have a team that can compete for a medal. I know the Grenada Athletics Association has plans to take part in the World Release in Bahamas in April. If we could get to the finals of that, then we automatically qualify for World Championships later on in the year. And that will be a good launching pad for our team to really do the necessary time to compete at these big games. And I'm confident that once we can get another 2 guys running 45 seconds, we should be able to medal at the big games.
Okay. Finally, we're up, Conrad, on the games overall, Grenada's participation and the games itself overall.
With Grenada's participation, I think has been the best performance ever, generally speaking, although we did not win a gold medal, but our athletes performed well. We had 1 athlete getting a silver medal, another one coming 7th, 2 athletes in the finals of the same event. That was history making. History making in the sense, again, we had 2 brothers in the decathlon, placing in the first, one in the first 10, the other one in the first 20. That is highly commendable. So I think that our athletes performed well. Our swimmers did not pass the first round, but they gave it their all. They gave it their best shot because achieve a season best. What more can you ask for, given the difficulties that she had during the year? Generally speaking, the team, it was a good team, very disciplined. We had no problems with them. They listened and they obeyed. They were very focused, and that was very important to really, and it showed in their achievements on the track. The games itself, I think it was a good games. It was very challenging. A third world country hosting an Olympics is not very easy, and I think that the Brazilians did a marvelous job of the situation, because coming into the games there were a lot of propaganda. I mean, if it's not about transportation or security, it was about Zika, you know. But at the end of the day, well done. And last night, as you saw in the closing ceremony, it was a splendid activity. Everyone had fun. Even you yourself, basketball, joined in the fun, and that was good. So I would say hats off to an outstanding Olympics.